Hey y'all, it's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back. If you are new here, welcome. It's my birthday. You have came on a great day, okay? And also, if you're new here or if you haven't seen my most recent video, this right here, I have to explain to y'all, okay? Because I don't feel like putting makeup on to cover it up. But your girl had them bundles. I had those bundles probably last week. I like to switch back and forth. But I usually wear my box braids. And I'm sitting here trying to get cute, flat iron my hair, clamp my whole jaw with that flat iron. So I am currently healing it. So thank y'all for the recommendations. But there's your disclaimer, okay? Other than that, y'all, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. And I'm super excited to come on here and go live talking to y'all. Last year I was on YouTube, but I don't think I was like even going live yet. So it's super exciting, you know, just to come on here and actually talk to y'all. You know, let me read this comment. Anna says, girl, we appreciate you, but why you not somewhere turn? Anna, listen, okay? So last Saturday, I had a birthday party at my house. And then today, my parents made brunch for me and all that other good stuff. And right now, it's only 6 o'clock Dallas time. So as soon as I finish this live, I'm about to go get something to eat. I'm going to have something to drink and I'm going to have a good old time. But I didn't want to get this Married at First Sight review out too late. So that's why I'm here. I don't mind being with y'all on my birthday for about 40 minutes. Thank you, Karen. It really ain't that long for me to be here with y'all on my birthday. So I appreciate y'all for showing up. So y'all know what it is. Decision day happened yesterday for Married at First Sight. And I just have to say, I told y'all the last Married at First Sight review that I thought that Zach was just like Chris. A lot of y'all didn't like that I said that he was just like Chris, but let's be real, okay? Were y'all not getting PTSD from the two of them making a decision, but not making a decision, divorcing from the 8 weeks that we just experienced in the last season? That was Chris. Chris and Paige did the same thing, you guys. Somebody please put some respect on my name and let me know that I wasn't tripping. I told y'all, Zach is simply just like Chris. The only difference is he is a little bit more respectable to the first impression. And I definitely saw it. Thank you. Dominique agrees. T says that Zach is Chris. And you ain't wrong. Dominique says, just like Chris, I was triggered. I was triggered as well. Okay. I'm going to get into that. But I hope y'all have already seen the review. I mean, not the review, the episode. And if you haven't, I'm here to tell you everything that you probably already know. But as I was watching last night, I was like, I hope y'all follow me on Twitter because I was tweeting during the show. I was like, he's saying all this and he still ain't gonna stay married. What'd he do? What do you do? Okay, so y'all, like I said, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, all that good stuff. We got a goal to hit. Subscribe for my birthday if you like my content. If you don't like my content, keep it moving. I don't care. So let's get into this review, y'all's decision day. Everybody is shaking in their boots, okay? But the one person in her video footage that says that she's feeling comfortable is Michaela. Michaela was like, yeah, I already know what I want to say. I'm not nervous at all. I just want to get it over with. I'm feeling good. So to me, I was thinking, okay, if you're feeling confident, that means that you and Zach must be on the same page. And if you and Zach are still on the same page and you're walking into decision day confident, to me, that means that he must have told you that he wants to continue a relationship with you. And that's the little bit of peace that you're holding on to. So y'all are still gonna date. Y'all still gonna fuck. Y'all still want to smash. And I felt like that's why she was so confident. We'll get into them, okay? So let's go ahead and start out. Thank y'all who are joining the chat late. Thank you, Ramel. Bad pick activated, okay? Let's get into order of all of the couples, okay? We're gonna start off with Mirla and Gil. My guess was that Mirla and Gil were going to stay together. I don't remember what I said whenever I first reviewed episode 1. I have to go back. Y'all, hold me to this. What I think I'm gonna do is after the reunion airs, it'd be cool if I did like a side by side of my initial guesses versus what we know now. So I could either see how wrong I was or how right I was. Because from episode one, y'all know they made Mirla out to be the bad guy. Mirla was made out to be the bitch. So I definitely said they were not going to make it. So Mirla, y'all know going into decision day, they're both reading things about each other and they're, just saying what's good, what's bad. So Mirla, she says the good things about Gil is that he's a nurturer, he's a provider, he likes to help people through his work, and it's just built into her person and his personality. She never has to guess what he's feeling, and that he's optimistic. Interesting that she chose the word optimistic because she knows that she's a pessimist or she's really negative. The bad side for Mirla had to be the finances. She was honestly worried when it came down to their finances. Now we go over to Gil. Gil is saying the good things about Mirla is that she's one of a kind and that she started out negative, but she came around. Him and his friend both discussed how she had a complete 180, and they even show clips of where they had their first kiss. Now, the one thing we didn't know, we knew, but the one thing they didn't tell us was if they consummated their marriage. So we'll talk about that. So now now both Mirla and Gil walk into decision day. And I have to say, Gil, you look nice in that suit. But I have to say, for the reunion, you probably should have kept your beard throughout this whole process. When I saw you on the reunion previews, I was like, you look like a handsome man with that beard. I mean, you're a handsome man now, but that beard, you probably would have been more in line with what Mirla's type was. Now, as far as Mirla's outfit, her outfit was cute. The red bottoms were cute. The eyeshadow was not. And now I see why Mirla is mostly a lash and no makeup girl. Ain't nothing wrong with it because I'm a lash and no makeup girl. I can't do my own eyeshadow. So I don't think eyeshadow was the way to go. But whatever, y'all. So they talk about what the wedding day was like. Mirla says to the experts that the wedding day was terrible and they think that she's joking. And it's very interesting that she starts out being negative. She pretty much is negative the entire time. But in this scene, it wasn't until this decision day episode that I felt like Mirla does that out of nervousness. You know how some people will ruffle feathers or cause like a shock factor to distract like what's really going on or how you really feel. I feel like Mirla does that kind of to defend or protect herself. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that's what I felt like she was doing. Being that you know that your number one issue is that you're a negative Nancy, why would you continue to do that? So anyway, now she says that the wedding day was terrible. The experts were shocked. And, they all start laughing. But honestly, whenever I watch the wedding day, like the only wedding that made me go like, oh, this is cute was Johnny and Belle because it had the cultural factor. Everything else, I was like, nah, if this was my wedding, I would have to have another one. I personally don't like whenever people have venues and the entire floor is carpeted in some random hotel color and then you go and throw stuff up. So if Mirla is like me, like that would have been it. So that's fine, right? And that's where Gil is like, what are you doing? Yes, yep, that's D. She said that wedding was low budget. It was low budget, okay? No girl dreams of having a wedding in a hotel venue with random decorations pulled up. Most women want to plan. So when she said that, I was like, I understand where you're coming from. But since we know that this is your number one issue, you might not want to go in like that on decision day. Anyway, Gil says that his wedding day was good for him, right? Then they go on to the topic of sex, which is the one thing that I told y'all we know, but they hadn't told us. And Mirla says, we have not consummated our marriage. And to me, I felt like if they would have left it at that, she would have left it at that, right? But then Gil corrects her And he says, no, we actually did about 2 weeks ago. And you could see in her face that she was literally pissed that he was telling their business. And I think Gil is kind of like, what are we hiding for? So ultimately, she's cool with it. And then once they meet up with the couples after decision day, they both decide to tell everyone that they consummated the marriage. But you could tell she was pissed because she probably didn't want people on TV to know that she was having sex with her husband, which I find is kind of weird about people when they come on these shows. Kind of like how Karen was not last season. I always say last season, New Orleans. Karen and Miles from New Orleans. Karen was awkward because she was being filmed the whole time and she didn't want to be intimate with her husband. But I'm kind of like, girl, that's your husband. You grown. You came on the show. Like, it's super weird, right? So whatever. Then Pastor Kyle says to Mirla, where's your wedding ring? And she was like, and my wedding ring's ugly. So I'm like, damn, another opportunity to be negative. Then they just jump on right in about the hot topic, which is her being a negative Nancy. Gil says that it drains him. On the other side of things, Mirla says that their finances worry her. So then Dr. Viviana says to the two of them that they thought that the love between the two of them and what they ultimately wanted in a marriage would outweigh the finances. So then Dr. Viviana says, do you think we were wrong? And then that's when Mirla says, yes, you were wrong. And it kind of makes you think for a second that she might end up saying no. And for a second, I did think that maybe Mirla is so materialistic. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but maybe Mirla values her freedom when it comes to money more than she values having a husband. So I was like, you never know. She might choose something else. Anyway, ultimate decision, Mirla goes first. She says that she's happy in her marriage. She wants to stay married. Gil says that she's negative. He's always wanted somebody to test him. And with Mirla, he feels like he's being tested every day. And that's where he says that he's actually in love with Mirla. And that's where Mirla says, thank you. And she gives him a kiss. She doesn't say it back. Y'all, I don't think that Mirla doesn't love him. I think that Mirla is just very, very socially awkward when it comes to relationships. I think Mirla does not like PDA at all. I think it is just very weird for her to express any sort of emotion. And that's why she said, thank you, instead of I love you too. So anyway, the two of them end up staying together. And just like Jasmine said, from the reunion preview, it looks like they aren't together. So I absolutely want to know what happened. The finance thing still seems to be an issue between the two of them. And I hope y'all are following Married at First Sight fan on Instagram, MAFS fan on Instagram. They post a lot of pictures of everybody from the show being out and about. And people were trying to say that Mirla and Johnny were dating. In my opinion, I can never see that happening, okay? But it seems like it's something that they kind of allude to in the reunion, like, what's going on with you and Johnny? And for them to ask her that question makes me assume that her and Gil are no longer together. There were also some tweets back in August, I think, where Gil was saying that he was a clown for believing that somebody actually loved him. So I'm like, And then Marcy, she brought up a good comment. Also during the decision day, Gil was saying that he doesn't not appreciate nice things. He wouldn't choose to live in a shack, but he's saying that he would be content with being a thousandaire versus a millionaire. Now, I don't even know. Gil, I don't know. I think what Gil has alone, he's going to have to shoot for. Hey, what's up? You want to come say hey? You don't have to say hey. You don't have to say hey. I'm on live and I just see you staring at me. My bad. Anyway, y'all, my fiance was interrupting. It's my birthday, so he wanted to stare at me like a weirdo while I'm going live. Anyway, Y'all. Gil has to want more for his family. His apartment with the white refrigerator, you're gonna have to want more. So I think that Mirla and Gil can actually meet in the middle, and he shames her. I don't know why. This is the thing. This is why I think that they need a mix of experts on this show. Y'all got to shake it up. Pastor Cal doesn't always call the men out on their ish. They're too old school to not say what it is. Gil, this entire time, has been playing Mirla due to his own insecurities. And we didn't see that until the end. So it's like it's not more about what Mirla's spending. It's more so about Gil feeling insecure about what he can actually provide. So then you just decide to be content. That's not good enough. So I guess we're going to see where that goes. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the next couple, which is Johnny and Bal. I have to say, y'all, I was pleasantly surprised and pleased with this entire sit down discussion between Bal and Johnny. Like, this is the way that I usually want things to go when I watch Decision Day, and they never go that way. So, yes, T says we need Nephew Tommy to pop in on these men sometimes, or even Kevin Frazier. I think Kevin Frazier does a good job interviewing the men when it comes to reunions because I think he watches our videos. But anyway, I think he does a good job asking the men questions and holding them to the fire, but somebody has to do it along the way. Then again, you probably don't want to influence people to be fake or, throughout the process. So I don't know, maybe you just got to let things be the way they are. So let's get into Johnny and Bal. This is where they're reading the stuff about each other, where Bal says that the good things about Johnny is that he's the life of the party. He's driven. Whereas the bad things is that Johnny's running because he's afraid from being hurt because she thinks that he can see the potential for where they could ultimately end up being, right? Now we get to Johnny. Johnny, I feel like his tone of voice when you heard him narrating seemed like it was a struggle for him to even say these good things about Bal. He says she's cute, she's quirky, she's independent, and those are the things that he's attracted to. The bad is that his bad was so specific, y'all. That's part of the reason why I was like, they ain't together. Like, absolutely not together. And we knew that before. But his bad was very specific. He says she hides certain aspects of herself, and she also has a lack of maturity. So then the lack of maturity goes back to whenever he said that she was a little bit childish. Now, I do see where she's a little bit childish, but Johnny, you have been the issue this entire time, and you have been trying to find a way out. Johnny, you need therapy, not a wife. I'm going to say it again. So now, y'all, they both walk into Decision Day, and Bal is looking beautiful. Bal is wearing red lipstick. She is wearing a red dress. I don't even remember what Johnny was wearing. All I remember is Johnny in that hard-ass vein that gets on his face whenever he gets upset. So my first note was, yes, Bal with the hard eyes. And also, I must say, Dr. Viviana was looking snatched. She was looking thick with 2 C's on the couch. Her dress was super cute. She always gives. Now, back to Johnny and Bal. Bal says that she feels like throughout their marriage, there's definitely been more highs than lows. Johnny is in this weirdly positive place, kind of like how we see Zach. And Johnny says, the things that I really enjoyed about our marriage was, just the small moments. Those were the moments that I could look forward to and say, this is what it would be like to have Bal as a wife. This is what I can expect. And it sounded really sweet. And I'm like, boy, if you don't GTF. When he came there with that energy, I knew he was going to say yes. I was like, he's going to say yes. And it's not because he doesn't want, it's not because he actually wants to stay married. I think Johnny doesn't want to look like an asshole. And I think that's the same thing that we kind of saw Zach battling with. I told y'all episode and episode again, all of the men, they get on this show saying that they want a wife. When the wife meets 8 out of the 10 criteria, it's the 2 out of 10 that makes them not want to be married anymore. They often quit before the end of the 8 weeks. And then whenever you get to the last half, they're sitting there going hot and cold, and they're trying to juggle Do I look like an asshole or do I not look like an asshole? And that's where all the confusion comes from. And that's what we got. So the challenges in their relationship, they both say to communicate. Johnny says, the challenge that I had to deal with was just not to run. But Johnny, you very much ran. Johnny, you was Usain Bolt. You was a runner. You was a track star. You ran every single episode. So I was like, Johnny, who are you fooling? Why are you coming here on this fake stuff? I'm not understanding, okay? So Bao, that's when I'm like, somebody has to call him out. Thank you so much, Princess. She says, very late to the game. Just got off work. I don't really watch Married at First Sight, but wanted to wish you a happy birthday. Love you and your channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So, y'all, I said somebody had to call Johnny out. And thank you, Bao. Bao was poised. Bao, you could tell when she talked to him, it wasn't to make him look bad. It was just simply to factually say what happened. She said, but you did run. She felt like along the process, she lost her voice because she was afraid that the arguments would elevate and get worse. And that's where Johnny all of a sudden gets confused. Thank you so much, HFG, for the super chat sticker. She was afraid that the arguments would get worse. And she was right, because Johnny in his vein was literally about to bust open. And even though Johnny says that his tone was here the whole time, he said at most his tone was here, but he never yelled at her. You don't always have to be yelling at somebody or physically touching someone to seem like a threat. Johnny, you're the delusion. I don't get it. You're delusional. His vein and his forehead was enough to make me afraid for Bao. And I'm sitting there as a viewer. I'm like, if the cameras weren't here, Johnny would probably yell. And that's why Bao would often talk like this. And Johnny got upset that she too wouldn't make herself look like an ass. So that's where he says in his relationship, most of the time he's just listening. Where? Somebody run the flashbacks, run the tape back. Where? Right? He says that he doesn't always want to be the one to blame in a relationship, and that often when he talks to Bao, it's always like one person has to take responsibility for something. That's because you were wrong majority of the time, Johnny. And I think Johnny's entire task this entire time was, as soon as he did one thing wrong, he would try to make Bao look like she was just as worse as him. And I feel like he has a lot of those narcissistic character traits that we see in the Martell Holtz that I talk about in my Love and Marriage Huntsville reviews. You can never just be wrong. After that, every single moment is a moment to make her look just as bad as you. And you're getting upset that when you get upset, she stays like this, because then you look like you're the one in the wrong, which you are. So you have to sit in it, Johnny. And then, y'all, of course, they get to talking about Sarah, the friend. So for those of you who need a reminder or don't watch the show, Johnny called Bao's best friend on the phone looking for negative information about Bao. Sarah, the best friend, ended up telling Johnny that Bao often likes to break people down and then build them back up into the image in which she wants them to be, which is why none of her relationships work. He took that information and ran with it and went and told Dr. Pepper, as if Bao was caught red-handed for being a person that was just as bad as him. And to him, he thought that that was enough information for him to essentially end the entire process. So now on decision day, they rehash a lot of the stuff that happened with Sarah. Johnny apologizes immediately. And at first I was like, he's full of shit. But he's also a narcissist, in my opinion. He knows exactly how to apologize. Not only did he apologize, but he said that basically he just went to Sarah for validation. He just wanted someone to validate that Bao was as bad as he felt she was in that moment. And I felt like that was probably the realest thing he could have said. But the reason why I'm calling him a narcissist and calling him BS, calling BS on him, is that he sent his representative to decision day, just like somebody said in the comments. So, yes, now it's time to get to the ultimate decision. Johnny goes first. And this is where usually I'm like, yes, I always love for the hot and cold asshole to decide first. Because the man that's more worried about his perception rather than telling the truth and being honest, he's going to say yes. And then I always hope for the woman or the person who is done wrong in the relationship to squash that shit and say no. And I finally got that. So Johnny, he says, there's been so many lows, but I think that I want to say, and y'all, I thought this man was going to I thought he was gonna melt like the Wicked Witch from the West. He was sitting there in his chair, eyes were bulging, he was ready to cry, and he looked like he couldn't breathe. And he said, ultimately, I want to say yes. We can go to counseling. Let's see. Let's just see where this goes after the cameras are gone. When people say, let's see where that goes after the cameras are gone, that means let me get a divorce in peace. I don't want my divorce to be aired, and I don't want to look like the asshole. But you know what? Bao smart. She put that intellect to work. As much as Bao tried in this marriage, and she said that she would be there for him the whole time, I was like, oh shit, she's gonna say yes. Only because remember, she admired how her parents stuck it out in their marriage, and she always said she was gonna be a ride or die. So I was like, damn, she might actually stay. But what I didn't realize was that Bao was only offering her ride or die services for 8 weeks. And we applaud you for that. Because anytime after the 8 weeks, you're going to be dying. It ain't going to be no ride or die. It's just going to be dying every single time. So thank you, Bao. This is where Bao says, no. She said, I'm severely unhappy and it's too late and I can't trust that you'll change. And you can tell Johnny was immediately pissed, not at Bao, but you could tell that Johnny was pissed at his decision to say yes. Like I told y'all, he's a narcissist, okay? He can't handle the rejection. So he wasn't mad because he wanted to be with her. He was mad that he embarrassed himself by trying to look like the good guy. And ultimately, in the battle of Johnny versus Bao, who's the better person, Bao won because she told you it's too little too late. You thought that you were going to get the opportunity for her to say yes. And then we all be happy. We all clap it up and say, maybe he'll actually go into counseling. And then it's a neutral ground and you take that as a W. But nah, Bao beat you at your own game. I don't care if Bao is worried about her perception of people. Like Brittany said, I'm right there with you. He played himself. Thank you so much. Alicia said she took her power back. Bao, thank you. To the girls in seasons to come, learn something from this because most people don't do this. You need to be ride or die for the full 8 weeks. And then when it's over, when the 8 weeks are over, ain't no ride or die left in her. It's just die every single time. Just let it die. So Bao, y'all, that made me so happy. But Mina left a comment. She says, if Bao and Zach are dating, then I don't blame him. But then again, I don't think Zach will be good for Bao. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that, okay? So shout out to Bao, y'all. That was so satisfying. I was so happy as a viewer. And I felt like it took seasons for people to actually do this. I don't think I really felt this way since Mindy left Zach in the North Carolina season. Now, if y'all been watching the show for a while, y'all know who I'm talking about, but I don't think I felt this way since Mindy left Zach. And even when Mindy left Zach, she wasn't like, nah, I'm done. It was more so like, you don't want me, then don't talk to me. You don't want me, then I'm gonna have to go. Where Bao was kind of like, I'm good on you, boo. So shout out to Bao. Now, y'all, let's move on to the boring couple, Brett and Ryan, okay? Like I told y'all, I have to continue to credit Married at First Sight fan, MAFS fan on Instagram, because they have been coming with some tea. So y'all, we know that Ryan downloaded that dating app, right? But what we didn't know is that Brett, for those of you who didn't watch the episode, they both said no. Let me tell y'all this right now. They both said no. The only thing interesting from this part was that Ryan admits that he definitely has a type that's not Brett. And they both said that they were waiting on some spark to happen and it never happened. But let's get to the real tea, okay? Neither one of them were ready to be married to each other. They both want the same things in life. They both agreed to get a divorce. That's that. But the tea is, oh, thank you so much, Stephanie. She says, happy birthday. You look beautiful. I remember Stephanie because you're from Oklahoma too. Thank you so much. So now we know that Ryan downloaded this dating app 1 week before decision day, right? But what we didn't know is that Brett has a boyfriend that she has been dating since April. April would put us at decision day. So that means that the reason why Brett wasn't tripping so much on Ryan dating was because she had met her current boyfriend too. That's what I heard, allegedly. Y'all go check out the information on MAFS fan, Married at First Sight fan on Instagram. They post all kind of spoilers on their Instagram page. Thank you so much, D Woodman. So yeah, go check out their Instagram page. But both Ryan and Brett were dating other people around the same time. So I really don't have anything else to say about Ryan and Brett, y'all. Let me move on to Rachel and Jose, and then we can end with Michaela and Zach. Where y'all at? Okay. Rachel and Jose, y'all, I did not take a gang of notes on Rachel and Jose because I didn't feel like it was, y'all, I told y'all what it was from jump with Rachel and Jose. Rachel is a girl who wants a companion. Rachel wants to feel wanted. Didn't matter if it was a man that was 5'2", 6'2", black, white, purple, brown, $100,000, $50,000. Rachel wanted a man to want her. She was an insecure woman, lost 30 pounds, had been cheated on in multiple relationships. Jose, y'all know I called him Josephine when he got mad. Jose, he came off very metro this entire time. People questioned his sexuality. I question if he was really into women's like that because the things that he did with his wife when he got upset with her, as far as locking her out of the house, as far as cussing at her, it was very much like he was talking to another, like two girls arguing off the street. Jose wanted a wife to check the boxes. If you're a man in your 30s, you make a lot of money, you're very successful, you have a box to check to find a wife so you can look like America's standard of what it is to be a great man. So whether you like men, you know that for you to be respected in the way in which you wish, you need to find a wife. So that's why the two of them are going to stay together. Rachel wants to be wanted. Jose wants someone. Didn't matter if she was 5'2", 6'2", 200 pounds, 90 pounds. Jose didn't care. And that's why they were going to stay together. So Tiffany says, as a non-hetero, she thinks that Jose is bi. I think Jose is unsure. But I don't think that Jose exclusively likes women. I didn't even think he exclusively liked women because he told us he was in a relationship with a woman for 4 years, never told the lady you loved her. And then the reason why you didn't want to marry her is because she had kids, but you were with her for 4 years and y'all lived together. So I feel like that woman was essentially a beard, because Jose has to live up to a standard. So that's why these two are going to stay together. But what I will say I didn't like about the two of them is that Rachel had a habit of, well, I'm not even going to call it a habit. It's not enough to call it a habit. But we found out that Rachel was a cheater, or she had cheated before. Jose has a trigger for cheaters because he comes from a household where his parents are divorced due to his dad cheating, right? The night that Jose locked her out of the house, Rachel went and stayed at her ex's house. They still never told us. What's the one thing that you will ask your partner? If your partner comes home and says, hey, I went and stayed the night in my ex's house because I was pissed at you. Y'all tell me, what's the first thing you're going to ask your partner? Did you fuck? Did y'all smash? Jose never asked that question. Or if he did, they never showed Jose asked that question. So Jose says that he is choosing to trust her. Either one, that means he doesn't care if she had sex with the dude. Number two, he doesn't want to know. Or number three, he asked and they didn't show it. But for him to act like he's so angry and so untrustworthy, I'm sure he asked her, unless he really ain't to women like that. That's a possibility as well. So yeah, everybody's saying the same thing. Y'all, that's the first question you're going to ask. Did y'all smash or not? Did y'all dance underneath the sheets? That's what they're gonna ask. T, she said, I'm gonna ask my partner to pack that you should have called your mama. No, but really, that's the first thing you're gonna ask. And as a viewer, if Jose wasn't going to ask that question, the expert should have asked Rachel that question, because I'm like, we need to know more. Devin says that he told his friend that she told him that nothing happened. Okay, so maybe it happened and we didn't see it. But even then, I'm just like, okay. So anyway, the two of them love their relationship. They decide to stay together, and Jose says that he is going to choose to trust her. So that's that on Rachel and Jose. I could have told y'all from from episode 1, I felt like they were going to stay together, only because we saw Rachel and her insecurity. She wanted to be wanted. We saw Jose and he wanted a woman, and that's what they got. So let's move on to the final couple. Then I got to get out of here because I got to go have a drink for my birthday. Okay. The final couple, y'all, is Michaela and Zach. Now, I have to say this again, y'all, because I want my credit where credit is due. I told y'all that, I was going to say Jose. I told y'all that Zach was just like Chris. Chris ran so Zach could walk. And when I say Zach could walk, I mean Zach could casually play this girl in our faces. Now hold your horses. In no way, shape, or form am I team Michaela. Michaela is a damn mess as well. But when I see this couple, anytime I see a crazy couple, I think about that movie Gone Girl. Y'all seen Gone Girl? Where the woman seems outwardly the craziest, but ultimately the man decides to stay with her. And in the end, like in the beginning of the movie, you think that the woman is crazy as hell this whole time. But then you find out that the husband cheated. You find out other things that the husband did. And then ultimately, after the crazy sort of events, he decides to stay with her. And that's what makes him just as crazy as her. Y'all need to see Gone Girl, because that is Michaela and Zach all over again. Okay. I hope that y'all have seen that movie. If somebody has seen that movie, comment below and let me know if we see each other. Because I feel like Zach is a move in silence type of crazy, and Michaela is a tear shit up type of crazy, which is a bad match. So Michaela and Zach, they say that they both feel really good going into decision day. And I want to say that's exactly how, what's her name? Chris and Paige felt going into decision day. Y'all see what I'm talking about? She says, yes, I see you. Yep. Okay, very much. We see each other. I'm so glad y'all see what I'm talking about. So they're both feeling really good. And I feel like that's how Chris and Paige felt going into decision day. And they felt that way because Chris, much like Zach, and I'm going to continue to draw the parallels, was smooth enough to manipulate his wife into thinking that they could continue building something outside of a marriage, and that it would be easier for them to build something without the legalities or the paperwork of marriage, which to me is backwards. But these women, they like want to be married so bad, they want a man so bad that they'll accept him in any way that he's offering. And that's what we see here. So Michaela, she sits down and she says, I have to say, if I had to describe this process, it would just be an entire learning experience for myself. It was an entire learning lesson for me. Now, I told y'all, if y'all go back and watch my reviews, I almost called this man Chris. Zach would punish Michaela in a way, and he would use words that would plant themselves in her mind, and she would know exactly what to say to try to make him feel comfortable. So from the beginning, when she says this marriage was a learning lesson for myself, I was thinking to myself, like, Michaela, you're separating yourself from Zach, which was also the issue in this marriage. You can't do that. She did that to try to appease to him, because even though they said they wanted to continue a relationship without a marriage, part of her was hoping that Zach was going to say, well, if she's taking all the blame and if she's grown so much, then maybe I'll actually stay married to her. And that's what she wanted out of this. So she takes the blame by saying that it was a learning lesson for herself. She wants to make him feel like she has grown into this woman who he truly wants. And that's what he's groomed her into being, into always taking the blame, into always trying to morph yourself into a woman for Zach, because Zach has told you that you have traits that he would never want. So you're doing what you can to mold yourself, whereas Zach has done nothing. So now, Zach, he says, you know what? I'll let you know how I feel. And he breaks out a letter. He pulls out a letter. And y'all, I was not fooled one time by this letter at all. I knew that this letter was Zach's way of making Michaela feel confident that getting the divorce was the right decision. I never once thought that he was reading that letter to turn around and say, yes, I want to stay married. I knew it, okay? Because they already had a discussion about what the plans were. Zach used this, much like Johnny, y'all. They're so similar, which is why I think it's crazy that there's rumors that Bao and Zach are dating. But much like Johnny, y'all acted an ass this entire 8 weeks. You wait until you get to decision day, and you know that this is the final battle between good guy versus bad guy. And if you can get the good guy to side with you, then maybe you won't look so bad. Maybe you both can walk away from here and the cameras will get the final depiction of you being good, and y'all get a happily ever after, just for the next week for you to divorce her once the cameras are off. That's what Johnny wanted. And I think Zach wanted that, not so much as the marriage part, but Zach wanted them to be on the same page. So it looked like they were both happy. So it looked like, even though we're making this unorthodox decision, we're both happy. Essentially, that's what he got. So anyway, he writes his stuff down. He's crying, you made me a better man. Oh, give me a second. This is just the beginning of our relationship. And you're the best woman I know in my life outside of my mom. He can't even get his words together. I'm like, boy, you full of shit. Michaela's sitting there. She's smiling. She's melting. Everything in her. She says out loud that this is everything that she ever wanted to hear. And him comparing her to his mom. Boy, you're crazy as hell. Because any dude that's just comparing women to his mom, that lets me know, like, when people be out here lying, I'll put that on my mama. Don't put that on your mama. If you step on a crack, you're going to break your mama's back. And that's what Zach was trying to do with that letter. The drama, okay? The drama. So he was crying. And then she's smiling. He says, ultimately, I just want to say I love you too. I was like, boy, if you don't get the fuck out of here with boy. Okay. So Dr. Viviana is looking, and while Michaela is grinning from ear to ear, Dr. Viviana, thank you. We see each other. We on the same page. Dr. Viviana says, where the fuck is this coming from? She doesn't say those words, but she says, where is this coming from? Because this is quite a contrast from what we saw on the show. And Zach says, sounding like a narcissist, he says, well, because of everything that we've been through, I just have to say, she must love me. Y'all, please pay mind that his answer to Dr. Viviana wasn't, well, this is coming from me loving her. This is coming from her doing this for me. It all came from, well, she must love me. Like, why is it that Zach feels like this is a reward for struggle love? And this is what I can't stand with a lot of men in general. Stop trying to reward women for struggle love. And in this situation, Zach thinks that some peeing and divorce papers is her reward. They're going to continue to have sex after this. And this is her reward, along with this Emmy Award winning speech, is her gift for the struggle that they both went through for the 8 weeks. And he's saying that if she did all this, and if I could do all this to her and she still wants me, she must love me. So this is why I'm doing this. But do you love her? Zach is not as good as everybody makes it seem. Like, people literally were upset when I compared him to Chris. This to me was like, Zach, you were on full display. Zach, thank you so much for proving my point with the theatrics, the letter, the tears, all for you to turn around and say, in this situation, they make Michaela go first. Michaela goes first, and she says, I want to stay married. But she says it in a way to where y'all know that's not what they discussed. Zach and Michaela had already discussed getting the divorce up until this point. Michaela knew that. Michaela came there trying to make Zach comfortable enough to believe that she could be this perfect woman who he wanted her to be. It's too late, Michaela. Nobody is that perfect woman for Zach. It's too late. He wants to continue to smash past the 8 weeks. You're agreeing to continue to smash without the paperwork. And that's all that's going on. But part of her feels like, if he still, like, even though he doesn't want to be married to me, if he still wants to build with me, maybe we can make this work. Maybe we can stay married. And that's how delusional she is. And he knows that she's delusional. Okay. He's a move in silence crazy, whereas she's a show my ass crazy. So now, Michaela says she wants to stay married. Zach says, my decision is I want to divorce the past 8 weeks. And when he said that, I was like, oh shit. I was like, does this mean that he's saying yes? And I was like, surely not. Surely not, right? My fiance was like, I told you he was gonna say yes. I was like, just wait. Just wait, right? And they're like, what are you talking about, Zach? He says, well, just because we get a divorce doesn't mean that we're still not building. This is just the beginning. What does that mean? Tiffany, I'm glad you pulled that clown up. Clown Q. Just because we're getting the divorce doesn't mean that we're no longer building. And Pastor Cal's like, what is you talking about? You can't do that. And it was literally exactly what we saw last season. And he said, you have to make a decision. There's no yes, but. There's no, but. It's yes, I want a divorce, or I want to stay married. Yes, I want to stay married, right? Shit, y'all, he's confusing me, right? So anyway, T, that's exactly what it means. We ain't building, we destructing. He is destructing and trying to play it off as a build. So I'm glad Pastor Cal finally stood up. But yes, Pastor Cal literally was my face. And he says he doesn't want to be married. Now, we finally get an answer from him. They're going to get a divorce for y'all. Now, all the couples meet up like they usually do. Y'all be sure to like the video if you haven't liked the video, by the way. Like, comment, and subscribe. It's not over yet. But I just needed to remind y'all because we in here pretty deep. It's my birthday. We having a good time. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done that. So anyway, all the couples meet up and they go over what everyone's decisions were. I only took about 2 notes because that's the only 2 things that really mattered, right? So when it came to the meetup, Michaela explains to everyone that they're in a marriage purgatory. That's not cute. Oh no, baby, what are you doing? What are you doing, Michaela? That's not cute. Michaela is okay with being in a purgatory. And Gil starts to call it out. And he's like, how do you feel about that? Like, that doesn't make any sense. If this happened to me, then I would be feeling this way. And of course, she gets defensive and she says, well, our relationship is our relationship. Da-da-da. What's understood ain't got to be explained. Everybody, da-da-da. What Rihanna and Chris Brown say in that song? What did Rihanna and Chris Brown say in that song when they got back together and they was looking foolish as hell? Somebody in the comments help me out. But that's exactly what Michaela was giving with her response to Gil. Now, y'all, the other thing that I thought was very interesting was that our girl Bao, she says to the camera when she hears ain't nobody's business. Okay, that's what they said to the song. They said ain't nobody business. So anyway, what Bao says that's extremely interesting to me is after she hears about the news of Michaela and Zach, she looks at the camera and she says, what was the intent? Are you trying to have your cake and eat it too? And part of me was wondering was like, I've been saying this the whole time that Zach and Michaela just want to smash. They want to continue to smash. That's why they were hot and cold. That's why he's telling her that they're going to continue to build a relationship while he's building other girls' legs wide open because that's what's going to happen. That's not going to work. So anyway, he tells her that they're going to continue to build. And Bao seems to be like, what are y'all talking about? So you can be really messy and you can assume that the cake is Michaela and the eat it too is Bao because people are allegedly saying that Bao and Zach are dating now, which I think is hella interesting because a lot of the characteristics that I called out in Johnny, I felt like I could see in Zach, where Zach doesn't get extremely upset, but what he does is manipulate and he needs someone to take the blame so he doesn't look like the bad guy. And the minute he looks like the bad guy, he gets upset. So I don't think that Zach and Bao are going to work. Then if y'all look at the previews, Bao is alluding to, well, me and Zach wouldn't be too bad either because people are saying that Mirla and Johnny are dating. So I guess they're going to get into that at the reunion. But Kay, I'm right there with you. Kay says, why does Bao always have thoughts only on Zach and Michaela? Facts. I don't understand why. Brittany says Zach weaponizes his tears. Ugh, he's a black Karen. Y'all know how he was brought up. He was the only in a private school. You know how to get them tears worked. I don't know what they taught you in them classes, okay? T says that Bao and Zach are not going to work. They're not going to work. I appreciate y'all for the happy birthdays. Yeah. I feel like, was it another comment that I saw? Okay. Debbie says, we as females are conditioned and accepted to behave in a destructive manner. We find it less harmful based on gender. Violence in any form is not okay. I'm not understanding what that one means. Damn, I thought we was going to break the ice with this one, but I don't understand what that one means. Disco says, why do we let some of these guys get away with putting the responsibility for breaking up when it's their desire? But they don't want to be seen as the bad guy. Disco, that's what I'm here for. That's what we're here for on YouTube. Because if these people don't want to talk about it on the show, we're going to talk about it on the after show. We know that's what they want the whole time. But men never want to be the bad guy. Just be the honest guy. And I will almost say, let me not. Let me not. I won't. I won't. But I stand by what I said. Zach is Chris 2.0. Marcy says Zach chose himself. He's nobody's man. Kay says Zach is a male Karen. He definitely is. Marcy says I never want to see these folks again. I want to see them at the reunion. And that's it. Okay. Motan says Zach was being spiteful, gave a great show with just those tears just to say no. And I'm like super excited because I was on Twitter tweeting and I was like, Zach is doing all this shit just to say no. I knew he was still going to say no. So, y'all, I guess that's all I have for today. I can't wait to come back and talk to y'all about this reunion that's happening next week. What else do we have to look out for? I have my weekend shows, Love and Marriage Huntsville, Ready to Love, which is a good one. We get into these folks on Ready to Love. If you like Married at First Sight, I think that you would also like Ready to Love. And then, y'all, the Real Housewives, the Ultimate Girls Trip is coming out on the 18th. So I plan to review that show as well. But y'all, the reunion gonna be crazy. Thank you so much, Liz Vids. Tonight, I'm about to go get something to drink. I'm about to celebrate for my birthday. Jay, I'm with you. Gil did look much better with the beard, okay? But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed tonight's video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Necey Dixon, and I will see y'all in